Okay, I think you've got it. Okay?
Okay.
You made a little mistake on 0 there at the beginning, but then you
Yeah.
saw, oh, wait, no, I plugged that in, I'm going to get the square root of -3, that's not a real number. And then you immediately answered what correctly said 3 is, because 3 minus 3 is 0, and the square root of 0 is 0. You told me that. I didn't have to ask. Okay? And we saw that 0 isn't, and you say neither is 1 or 2, and you understand completely why. If you plug any of these numbers in, you're going to get a negative.
Right.
Okay?
Okay.
So, among the integers, if we start at 3, any integer greater than 3 is going to work, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay? Any integer greater than 3 is in the domain, so everything from here on, right?
Right.
And here, any integer less than 3 is not in the domain. And you understand now why.
Mm-hmm.
Okay? Well, that's just integers, right?
Right.
Okay? Well, what about a non-integer? What about like 3.01?
So work.
Yeah, 3.01 minus 3 would be 0.01, right?
Mm-hmm.
Square root of 0.01 is 0.1, it turns out to be, but I have to worry about that. Okay? You should know how to do that mentally, and you're good with mental, so maybe you do. I didn't say you were mental, I said you were good with mental.
Yeah.
You're perfectly sane and you're good with your mental arithmetic. Okay? So, how about 3.01? Well, f of 3.01 equals the square root of 0.01. I didn't do all the substitution, but you can do that easily, right?
Right.
You can fill in the blanks. And that happens to equal 0.1, but whether or not you know that equals 0.1, you know that this is a positive number and it has a square root, because any positive number has a square root, okay? How about 2.99?
No.
Because that equals a square root of negative 0.01. And that's not real, so it's not in the domain. Okay? I didn't ever write down that 3.01 is in the domain, but make sure we've got that, okay?
All right.
Okay, well, you can pretty well then conclude 3 is in the domain, and any number bigger than 3 is going to give you a positive number when you subtract 3, right? But any number less than 3 is going to give you a negative, right?
Okay.
Okay? So we observe if x is greater than or equal to 3, then x minus 3 is greater than or equal to 0, right? So x is in the domain. If x is less than 3, then x minus 3 is less than 0. So x is not in the domain. Okay? Well, then we conclude that the domain of f of x equals square root of x minus 3 is there are various ways to write this. And I'm not sure, you know, I glanced at your notes, but I didn't look at the notation. You can say a set of x such that x is greater than or equal to 3. It's the interval x greater than or equal to 3. It's the interval that includes 3 and goes all the way to infinity, or approaches infinity, okay?
Okay.
Does that make sense?
Mm-hmm.
Which notation is the one that you,
The bottom one.
yeah, okay, so that's the one you use, that's the best one.
Mm-hmm.
This is also good, but don't worry about it until your instructor
Okay.
introduces it, okay? And this way of representing it. Also then, you can graph the interval. Here's 3. So you just draw a big old arrow and a big dot to show that 3 is included, right?
Right.
Did you do this?
We didn't do that, but I remember.
But you've
doing
seen that in
this
your
summer.
MTEs,
Mhm.
okay? So you should be familiar with that.
Yeah.
Okay, very good.